There's a super low tide today, and I'm hiking out to one of my favorite low tide spots to do some nature journaling. It's good to pay attention to tides or other seasonal occurrences and take advantage of those special opportunities to go observe nature, and journaling is a good way to be a part of those cycles and recognize them. So I'm super excited. Oh yeah, really stoked to be out here right now. It's a little bit cold. It's a little bit wet, even kind of drizzly right now. But sometimes it's good to practice nature journaling in less than ideal conditions. Dang, look at all these crabs. A ton of crabs out here. Oh yeah, I don't get a nature journal in the tide pools enough, so it's awesome. Pretty good low tide. This is gonna be great. Mussel season just ended. But seaweed season's just getting started. Here's some nori right here. See that? Nori for breakfast. Nia Coast. Gonna do some landscape ethos. Lots of options for drawing landscapes. Alright, I'm gonna keep hiking. When you are nature journaling somewhere with overwhelming biodiversity, such as the intertidal zone, some people struggle with deciding on a subject for nature journaling. It's easier if you're taking pictures, you can just wander everywhere and try to take a picture of everything and you don't have to focus. But one of the challenges and one of the opportunities of nature journaling is to work on your self-discipline and decide what you're going to focus on. So instead of going everywhere and trying to look at everything, you focus and go deeper with a few things. So I already mentioned having a target taxon, such as marine plants, and that would give you something to focus on. But another thing you can do is to focus on more conceptual things, such as relationships. If you're focusing on relationships as your target for the day, then when you come out here to Nature Journal, you can specifically look for those things and go a lot deeper than if you're just wandering around. I do recommend, such as I mentioned in the target taxon, to have the decision made before you come out into the field, and it will make it a lot easier to stick to your decision. Obviously, if you're nature journaling and something really crazy and inspiring is happening nearby and you want to nature journal that, then feel free, but just practice those as techniques to help you deal with overwhelming information density places. So you might have seen my video where I say it's good to have a target taxon or species or family or whatever, or have a target concept such as relationships when you come out to nature journal somewhere that's really overwhelmingly biodiverse or information dense. And so here I am out here nature journaling at low tide, and I didn't do either of those two things, and I almost got sucked into the photography thing. I kept seeing cool stuff and just wanting to photograph it, but I persevered and ended up deciding on a nudibranch as my first subject. So you can see here, I started to do some quick sketches. Obviously this is graphite, and I started to take some notes also and lay out my page a little bit. But one thing I wanted to say is, now that I took out my watercolor, it's going to be interesting because there's a lot of humidity in the air, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but here we go. Starting to come in a little bit, and I've done a good amount of nature journaling here, I'd say. And I feel pretty good looking at some of the stuff, and really near to where the waves are breaking, and I'm going to move in a little bit now because the tide is already coming up, and yeah, it'll just be easier for me to focus on my nature journaling if I'm not worrying about the waves. In writing, there's this concept of 2 crappy pages a day. Basically, the idea is that instead of romanticizing or creating too big of an expectation about work, creative work, to have a small expectation, an expectation that's easily met. And so I feel pretty good about having filled 2 pages here at the tide pools today. And the paradox, again, is this situation where, because you're not focused on the quality and you're focused on the quantity instead, you end up getting good quality. Or at least you will over the long run, because if you're really doing the quantity and you're doing it frequently, hence 2 crappy pages a day, okay? So that's where the big ask is that do it on a consistent and frequent basis. And that's the way our brain learns things and learns what is important. And it will become easier and easier, and the quality will come.